What is going on YouTube? It's Khan's Vlogs. We're back with another video, you guys. Before we get into it, if you guys didn't see my last video, go ahead and check it out down below. We go over the real reason why we might be keeping the Chevy SS on the channel and why the Chevy SS might actually be a good idea to buy right now. What I'm about to say might trigger some of you, so stay tuned to the end of the video because you might not like what I have to say or you might agree with me. But basically what we're going to be talking about today, you guys, is manual versus auto. Which one's better in most situations and why. We're going to be hopping in my 2015 Camaro 2SS 1LE, so it's a manual. It's the TR6060 6-speed transmission with a 391 gears. Phenomenal car. We're gonna be hopping in that right now, taking it out for a drive, and I'm gonna be talking to you guys the advantages of a manual transmission like this one has. And then later in the video, we're gonna be taking out my dad's 2016 Chevy SS. Two similar cars. The SS has a lot more work done to it, including it's not a stock engine anymore, but it's the closest thing I have to compare right now, you guys. Automatic transmission, the 6L80E, it's a bone stock transmission, you guys. This car, the Camaro, is making about 430 wheel horsepower, while the SS is making just under 700, you guys. But I've had a lot of experience with the 6L80E. I used to have a G8 that was cammed, that was right around the same power as my Camaro. So we're gonna hop in, you guys. We're gonna be talking about some of the advantages and disadvantages of manual or auto. Also, if you're not subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. Share the videos, you guys. That would help me out so much, and just give it a thumbs up. Leave your thoughts. Oh yes, this is the interior of the 2SS 1LE, obviously manual here, TR6060. 3-pedal gang down there, 1, 2, and 3. So we're gonna start it up right now. It sounds pretty good. Oh, little backfire there. Make sure it's in neutral though. Those American racing headers sound phenomenal. So to start off, you guys, as you can see, the car's already warm. We got the transmission temp right there. Before this transmission is warm all the way, you guys, it makes insane noises. It is the clunkiest sounding thing ever. Like, and you know, this does have the ZL1 short throw shifter, with it being the 1LE that comes from the factory with that. So I'm sure that, you know, attributes to a little bit of it, but like when this thing's cold, man, it's a little bit scary. It feels like you're breaking something every time you try to put it in gear. One thing about the manual transmission, you guys, I want to let you know that I do love it. I am a big manual transmission fan of how fun it is, but more importantly, like how connected you feel to the car. It's great. Like downshifting, nothing is more satisfying than when you hit a solid downshift like that. Like when you rev match it good, and you just let out the clutch. It's smooth. You can feel it engine braking a little bit in the higher RPMs. And it sounds phenomenal too. Nothing, I mean, it is very hard to beat. The feeling, the satisfaction, and the noises you get from a manual transmission. It's important because you just feel so connected with the car, you know what I mean? It's just so good, man. That downshift? Come on. That feels so good. The pops, you gotta love it, man. Yep, there's some footage there of me driving this thing. So again, this is a 2015 2SS 1LE 6-speed TR6060 manual transmission, you guys. It's phenomenal. I freaking love this transmission. It's clunky as can be when it's cold, but it's stiff. It's stiff, and I think part of that is from that short throw I mentioned, but it feels so good, you guys. But we're gonna get into some of the advantages of a manual. over an auto. So we're gonna hop out and then we're gonna talk about it. Manual transmission, let's talk about some of the advantages of that over an auto. To start off, the obvious one, it's more engaging for the driver. It's way more fun. Like, to be 100% honest, it really is. Like, you just have more control over the vehicle, I feel, and I feel like us as car guys, like, we don't want to just get in a car and just sit and drive most of the time. Like, if we're ripping around canyons and whatnot, you know, you like a little bit of a challenge. Just part of the fun of it is driving with it. So that's probably number one, is that it's more engaging. The wind's pretty bad. I'm gonna hop back in the car. The second thing that I've got is that it's less expensive to fix typically. There's less moving parts. It's less complex than an automatic transmission. Especially these newer transmissions are getting way complex, although I will say, the way things are going, companies are doing a phenomenal job at making automatic transmissions reliable, cost efficient, fuel efficient, and all that. It is, people do say that having a manual is more fuel efficient than an auto. I don't know. I don't think it's going to make enough of a difference to make it worth it to switch. Because if you're driving an automatic car like a regular person, you're going to get pretty dang good gas mileage, and I have a hard time believing you can get better with a manual. We've got more engaging, kind of more fun to drive. We've got less expensive to fix. And then the third reason that I would take a manual over an auto is simply because you can choose what gear you put it in. You don't have to go through the gears. If you're on the freeway and somebody pulls up, you got to give somebody the gap down in Mexico. Bro, slam that thing in second gear. I do that all the time in the Camaro. Like, if you got long gears like this thing does, you can literally go from fifth, rev it up, right in a second, and you are in the torque band. It feels great, you know. Then you just give it some throttle and it throws you back like never before. But that's pretty much the three biggest arguments that can be made for a manual. The biggest one, of course, just being it's more engaging. And I know a lot of you guys are going to go in the comments saying, oh, well, you can put down more power through a manual. It's more power efficient. You lose less power on a dyno. All that great stuff. You guys listen. I agree with you on that. You'll make more power, a little bit more power in a manual versus an auto car. But, you know, we don't live in 1990 anymore. I hate to say it, but these new auto transmissions are getting pretty dang efficient, man. But I will say this about the manuals. They're more fun to drive because they're more engaging. And also from a tuner slash, you know, modding your car standpoint, I would take a manual simply because you don't have to tune them. You don't have to go through and tune them. You don't have to tune the shift points. You got to worry about any of that. But I have found in my experience that manuals have been a little bit more reliable, way more cost effective, and just less of a headache than the autos. From my experience, the TR6060, reliable, fun, can handle great power, puts down power phenomenally. There's not a lot of disadvantages to it, you guys. The only one I can really think of we're about to talk out right now when I hop in the SS, which is an auto. We have two pedals in the auto. Nice. So yeah, let's start off with the most obvious reason here. For the most part, like, unless, like, you know, something happens with the tuning or whatever, for the most part, you can't stall an auto. It has been done. I've done it. My old G8 had a lot of problems with the 6L8E that was in there. You just don't have to pay as much attention to the auto. Obviously, I mean, literally, if you have it in auto mode, you just drive. You know, just gas, brake, that's it. It would be way easier to drive an auto every day than to daily a manual car. In most modern cars, you can still select the gearing. I mean, this one, all you gotta do is hit the paddle and it'll put it in, you know, a mode where you can select the gear, or you can put it over in sport mode and then manual, and then it will stay in whatever gear you want to put it in. Yeah, that's obviously the number one reason you would want an auto over a manual, is because of just how simple it is. I mean, you don't have to worry about it. You can just get in and drive, and in stop and go traffic, like, it's a lot safer to just be focusing on, like, speed and steering instead of having to worry about what gear you're into, worry about stalling it, letting the clutch out right. And I think most people would agree. So, simplicity, yes. And nowadays, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, autos get better gas mileage than manual. You can't outshift a computer in that sense, and it knows when to shift for the best fuel economy. So yes, you got better fuel economy, I'm gonna say, and then the fact that it is just simpler. And this last and next point is going to be the one that's going to trigger a lot of people. And this right here is the reason why I actually right now want an automatic car more than I want my manual 1LE. And that is because you cannot outshift an automatic. It is 2021. This car's a 2016 and it has a 6L80E. That is a like very universal transmission. It's a truck tranny. You're not outshifting it. I'm sorry, I don't care if you have flat foot shifting, I don't care if you are Mario Andretti. You're not outshifting a computer unless there's a horrible tune on that car that's causing it to flare and pause and sputter. You're not going to outshift it. And like I was saying earlier with the manual, yeah, you can select whatever gear you want. It's easier to drop a gear and go, drop 2, 3 gears. But that's where the computer comes in handy. If you're in auto mode and it's shifting on its own, you're going to put it to the floor and it's going to downshift to the lowest possible gear for you, so you don't even have to worry about it. It's going to be so much quicker, and then the upshifts are going to be so much quicker. You're not going to lose as much momentum having to let off the gas and then put in the clutch and then shift it. I'm sorry, you guys. Manuals are cool. Manuals are fun to drive. Automatics win races, and the fact that they make less power on a dyno to the wheels, you're not making up for the amount of time and momentum lost in shifting a manual car. I'm not trying to crap on manual cars. I love them. I drive one. They're great. There's nothing like driving a manual. But, guys, cars are getting smarter. Computers are getting faster. Automatics are the way to go. They win races. And as long as you're not too hard on them, they're pretty dang reliable as well. But that's all I've got for you guys. Again, let me know down below what your thoughts are. Share the video, tell your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel down below, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys on my next video.